Well, this is the very first one that I did, and when I started this out, all I had was a Campbell Hausfeld 115 volt um, little flux core welder, cheap Amazon hood, and just a little welding table I built. I've got a filter there. I was trying to, suck up the smoke and stuff. That's like some 1/4 inch steel there that I was trying to weld with that thing. And well, I had just started welding school, and I wanted to share what I was learning with all you guys out there. So that's the first video. That's something. That's all I'll say about it. Okay, we're moving a little further down the road here, and this is my first attempt at overhead stick welding. And boy, did we spend a lot of time during doing that in welding school. A lot more time than I spend doing it in the job. And you're going to find out in the field that you're going to do everything you possibly can to weld stuff in the flat position or the horizontal position, but you need to be able to do it in all positions. So overhead welding, first attempt. Alright, these are some scenes from school, and this is oxy-fuel cutting. We use oxyacetylene. There's some other gases you can use, but that's what they provided us with. And those are some, that's some thick material. That's some 1-inch thick steel, and they were learning to cut bevels with it. I always enjoyed the oxy-fuel cutting class. It was a lot of fun. Alright, this is a buddy of mine, Jimmy Allender, who was in the advanced class, and he's doing some downhill 60-10 open reef, as we like to call it, cowboy style. This is with a larger rod than the 564, so he was really cranking it up there and laying it in. Jimmy was a good mentor to me in school, and I believe he's still working at Mac Trailer in Eastwood, laying down those aluminum MIG welds. This is another shot of Jimmy, and this one is, as you can see, he's got a spool gun in his hand. This is where he was just learning to do the aluminum spray arc welding, which turned out to be a pretty good thing since he's doing that for a living. It's a really neat process. I enjoy it. You can really lay down a lot of aluminum this way. I'm a TIG guy. I love the TIG. But if you've got a lot of aluminum to do, TIG is a slow process. And if you're in a manufacturing process, laying it down with the spool gun and this spray transfers, and this is just the way to do it. Puts it down smooth and easy, and it is straight DC. Jimmy picked his stuff up pretty good. He's one of the most talented natural welders I had ever met. Alright, this is me in school again here, and apparently what I'm doing is I'm tacking up a couple of practice plates. This is probably for 2G, and this is one of the last ones you're going to see from school, as I got notified by the dean that they did not allow any YouTube videoing going on in the school. So I promised him I wouldn't do it any further. I didn't do it any further. Man of my word. And things worked out pretty well. I ended up doing a little bit of a welding work for the dean later on. He's a pretty cool guy. But like I said, this was early on, tacking this up, probably for 2G. I don't think we're at 3G just yet. Alright, in this one I'm trying my hand at doing a little review here. This was the Harbor Freight portable bandsaw. This turned out to be just a heck of a great tool. I know you guys probably make fun of a lot of Harbor Freight stuff, but God, I buy a lot of stuff from them, and it turns out to be really good stuff. I mean, some of it's total crap. Like I bought their 6-inch cutoff saw and stuff like that was really no good. But like you see that little Harbor Freight TIG stick welder sitting next to me there. The only downfall that machine has is it didn't come with a foot switch, and now it does. So they do have some good equipment there. Don't be afraid to buy things from Harbor Freight. Alright, Eastwood was one of my major sponsors in 2015, and this is their TIG 200 amp AC DC TIG welder, and what I'm doing here is some aluminum TIG welding, and we're looking at the cleaning or clearance effect, how much negative versus positive time you have on the AC cycle here, and the effects it has on cleaning your steel or cleaning your aluminum. And you'll notice the backgrounds keep changing as I'm making changes. Really didn't have a lot of video editing experience at this point. Kind of figuring it out as I go along. Like using those Pyrex cups for aluminum is a bad idea because they tend to explode after a while. Trust me on that one. You don't need to find out for yourself. But that Eastwood TIG 200 was a pretty nice machine. It doesn't have a stick welding feature, which I find kind of odd since almost all the other ones in that range do. But all in all, it was a great machine. Learning to weld pipe, especially learning to TIG weld pipe, is a very specific, very acquired skill. And it was not something that was being offered at the school in the program that I was in. But I had a great relationship with our head instructor, Gary. And he gave me some pointers, and he gave me some scrap, and showed me the way. And basically this is me just trying to figure out how it goes. And to this day, this is, one of the things I have the most trouble with is welding pipe. But it's quite a challenge, and I really want to thank Gary for all the time he spent with me. Alright, 60-10, learning that whip and pause. I've got this slowed down to a quarter speed, so as I was explaining it in this video. This was Adventures in Welding number 111 if you want to go back and check this out. But this is just a very slow motion view of the whip and pause, so you can see what it looks like. This is just practice on plate, but this is what you use for laying down your root in your open root welds. This is a 1/8 inch 60-10. Alright, in this video we're talking about Flux-Cored Arc Welding, FCAW, and how to set up your machine for it, and some of the things you need to look out for when you're doing it, different types of joints. Using the Eastwood MIG 250 for this. It's a 250 amp MIG welder from Eastwood. I'm showing you here how you need to swap your polarities around when you switch from GMAW to FCAW. And you know what? That's a hell of a machine. That MIG 250 will really lay down some welds. And Eastwood's no longer my sponsor, but So, you know, I'm not paid to say that. They're not giving me anything to say that. I'm just telling you, this machine's really nice. And for the price, you know, you can't beat something like that. This is some more talking about open root welding, actually doing up a little open root in the flat position. I was beefing up the tacks there, talking about how what you're really doing is you're welding the back side of the joint from the front side of the joint. And then we get going here. You see all my little machines over there in the corner, and there's a little GoPro vision of the actual weld going on. Alright, this one is the part of the Tailgater grill giveaway that I did for one of my sponsors, onlinemetals.com. This was just the first part of it. Doing a little MIG welding, putting the base together. They were supposed to give this away in September. I shipped it out to them, and I don't know what they ever did with it after that. This is part of the review I did on the 7x10-inch mini lathe from Harbor Freight. I think this has gotten over 20,000 views, which is incredible. I want to thank all you guys who've been watching this. This is a nice little lathe. It turned out to be too small for my uses, and I ended up selling it. But I really don't have any complaints other than the size. The work it did was great. So I'm looking for something a little bigger now, something maybe 16 to 20 inches center to center. Even though this is 7x10, it's really only 7x8 if you're going between centers. This one was a talk about safety. I know everybody hates to talk about safety, but I think it's important. I have had so many close calls with a wire wheel on a grinder. If I hadn't been wearing heavy welding gloves, I probably wouldn't have a thumb right now. Especially safety glasses, you've always got to protect your eyes. You don't get another set. So I just thought it was important at this point that we had another talk about safety, warning everybody, you know, piece of metal in the eye, no good.
Our change here are our welding parameters, and we want to make sure that we only change. Great. Get that one a little better.
We're going to run this, and I'm going to show you some parts of about $5. Difference
about 100 amps. So that's 25 amps down. That's pretty substantial.